The notification came on a Tuesday. Asterisk, you've been identified as a potential bone marrow match for a 22-year-old female with acute leukemia. Asterisk, I'd forgotten I'd even registered 2 years ago after a coworker's child got sick. A cheek swab at a community drive. Maybe someday gesture, but here it was, a life dangling. I said yes. Of course I said yes. The process was harder than they made it sound. The injections, the bone deep, the harvest needles in my hips, machines worry, my marrow siphoned out like some strange liquid gift. They told me nothing about her, privacy laws, just her age, her initials, LMI, pictured a college student, maybe an artist, someone with her whole life ahead. Interrupted. When it was over, I got a card, handwritten, thank you for my tomorrow. No return address, just gratitude that felt larger than the page. That should have been the end. It was. 6 months later, a woman messaged me on a donor registry site. LM, can we meet? I'd like to thank you in person. We arranged coffee. Neutral ground. I was nervous. Would we hug? Cry? I arrived first, chose a corner table, and then she walked in. My breath stopped. It was like looking into a warped mirror. My eyes, my mother's chin, my own smile, but on a stranger's face she sat. Her hands trembled. Around her cup. You look like me, she whispered, voicing the shock ripping through me. We talked in nervous fragments. She was adopted, had always wondered about her biological family, had searched, but records was sealed. Then she said it, the date of her birthday city. My blood went cold. I knew that date, that city. My mother had been there that summer, visiting family. She'd come home, different, quiet. She'd said it was a sad trip, a trip that lasted exactly 9 months before this girl was born. The math screamed, resemblance shouted. I fumbled for my wallet, pulled out a worn photo of my mother at that age. Her face crumpled. That's the woman from my dreams. She choked out. We sat in silence. The truth thickening the air between us. I had saved a stranger's life, a stranger who was my half-sister, a sister my mother had given away and never mentioned, not once in 28 years. The coffee grew cold. The world felt too sharp, too bright. I had given her my marrow. Now she was about to give me a secret that would break my family in two. I didn't tell Lily my suspicion. Not yet. I went to my mother's house instead, the one I grew up in. It smelled of lemon polish and lavender, like always, like safety. She was in the garden, pruning roses. She smiled when she saw me, wiping her hands on her apron. Sweetheart, I made lemonade. I didn't smile back. We need to talk. Inside, at the kitchen table, I placed the photo of Lily between us, the one from the coffee shop, young, smiling, alive because of me. My mother's face didn't change at first. Then, slowly, the color drained. Her hand reached out, hovered over the picture, but didn't touch it. Who is this? Her voice was a whisper. Her name is Lily, I said, watching her closely. I donated bone marrow to her 6 months ago. She had leukemia. A single tear traced the path through my mother's powder. She didn't wipe it away. She was born 22 years ago. I continued, relentless, in Portland, the summer you went to stay with Aunt Carol. The silence that followed was heavy, full. My mother closed her eyes. I wanted to tell you. The words were so quiet I almost missed them. She's mine, she breathed, eyes still shut. I was young, scared. Your father. We weren't married yet. It would have ruined everything. She finally looked at me, her eyes swimming with decades of grief. I thought it was a secret I'd take to my grave. I stared at her. This woman who'd read me bedtime stories, who'd bandaged my knees, who'd taught me about kindness. She'd had a daughter, given her away, and let me walk into a hospital to save her, never saying a word. Why didn't you stop me? My voice cracked when I told you I was donating. How could I? She wept by saying, don't save that girl. She's your sister I abandoned. The truth sat between us, ugly and raw. I had a sister. My mother had a secret. And with my marrow now flowing in Lily's veins, our family tree was suddenly, painfully grafted together. Outside, a bird sang. Life went on, oblivious. Inside, our family's story was rewriting itself in real time, and I was holding the pen, I brought Lily to the house a week later. My mother opened the door, her eyes immediately finding Lily's face, her own young face reflected, back across 22 lost years. They didn't hug, they just stared, the halves of a broken whole, seeing each other for the first time. "You have his smile," my mother finally whispered. "Your father's." Lily's chin trembled. "I never knew what he looked like." My mother reached out then, cupping Lily's cheek, a touch 22 years overdue. I watched from the hallway, feeling like both an insider and an intruder. I had brought them together. My blood in her veins had made this moment possible. Yet I stood outside the circle of their grief, their history. We sat in the living room, sunlight catching dust motes that swirled like forgotten memories. Lily told her story. Loving adoptive parents, a good childhood, but always a hole, a question mark where her origins should be. My mother told hers, a scared 19-year-old, a closed adoption, years of quiet wondering, secret grief on birthday days. "I named you Lily," my mother said, tears free-flowing now, for the flowers that grew outside the hospital window. Lily cried to soft, healing tears. I realized then that my donation had been more than medical. It had been a bridge. My marrow had literally carried life into her body. Now it was carrying truth into ours. At the end of the visit, Lily hugged me tight. "Thank you," she whispered into my shoulder, "for everything." I felt the pulse in her neck, steady and strong, my blood keeping time in her veins. My mother watched us, her expression a mosaic of regret and wonder. After Lily left, my mother took my hand. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice raw, "for the lie, for letting you walk into that hospital not knowing." I looked at our joined hands, at the woman who'd raised me and kept a monumental secret, at the sister who'd lived a parallel life until my cells called her back. "It's okay," I said, and I meant it, because some family secrets aren't meant to stay buried. Some are seeds, waiting for the right conditions to grow. My bone marrow had been those conditions. I hadn't just saved a stranger, I'd reunited a mother and daughter, I'd gained a sister, and I'd learned that sometimes the deepest family ties aren't the ones you're born with, they're the ones you choose to save.